All right, we are live, guys. So SVB collapsing in this last week has caused a whole ordeal in the banking industry and in the stock market actually as a whole. So um, if we take a look at, sorry guys, getting warmed up here. If we take a look at what's happened in this last month, really, just in terms of the big banks, there was a huge sell-off all across the board. Bank of America, huge sell-off, down 20.25%. JP Morgan down 10.5%. Wells Fargo 20%. Citigroup 13%. And then Credit Suisse right there, ticker symbol CS, down a whopping 32.5%. And they're having a whole crisis of their own, which I put them in the thumbnail there, but they're having some issues of their own. But it's not just these big banks, guys. The regional banks, too, are taking quite a hit, actually even more so. Lincoln Financial Corporation, or Lincoln National Corporation, actually, is what it is, down 40%. Citizens Financial Group down 30%. Bank OZK down 23%. But, guys, it's really not just the banks that are feeling this. Like I said, it's a huge ordeal in the stock market. And if we look at this is a heat map from FinViz showing how stocks have moved in the last 30 days or so. And we can see there's definitely more red than green. In fact, pretty much all of it's red with the exception of a few companies. We got Microsoft up, Google's up, Meta, some other ones, Procter & Gamble, General Mills, or that's what GIS is, right? General Mills. But anyway, guys, yeah, so for the most part, the market is sinking deeper into the red. And fears of a recession are really at an all-time high. And an all-out collapse of the financial system seems to be, those feelings too seem to be an all-time high as well. But for me, guys, and for many of us dividend investors out there, this really doesn't change a thing. In fact, this is probably, it has the potential to be good for us. And I'll explain what I mean later in the live stream. But before we get into any of that, guys, welcome to another Dividend Happy Hour. I'm so stoked to be back for another week. This is episode number 41, I believe. Yeah, 41. So we've been doing a handful of these now. I can't believe we're already at 40 episodes. But anyway, guys, let me know a couple things in the live chat or in the comments below if you're watching the replay. Number one, let me know what you brought to drink tonight to the Dividend Happy Hour. Me, I've got a little bit of water. I did not have time to fill up my water before going live. And I've got a little bit of a cup of coffee right here as well. So pretty boring for me over here, keeping it tame. But also let me know, too, what did you guys buy this week? I mean, there's a lot of red in the market. So let me know what you guys picked up this week in the live chat or in the comments below as well if you're watching the replay. And also, guys, after we get through the little spiel here, I do have an announcement to make regarding the Dividend Happy Hour. It's a good one, and it's an exciting one. So be sure to stick around till later in the live stream, because after we get through some of the reasons why this doesn't really change things, this whole banking crisis, this whole ordeal, doesn't really change things for me and for all of us dividend investors. But once we get through all of that, I'll share the announcement. So stay tuned, guys. And I want to go through and give some shout outs real quick, see who's all here. We got Broke Expat John. We got G-Man, Wing Addiction. We got the legendary Zaldath. We've got Thomas, Kevin, Jim, Shamir, Madrid, Paolo, Cliff, Phil, Lucas. Nice. Flurze, hello from Denmark. Hello, my friend. Good to see you in here. Eli's here. Michael, Fast Eddie, Suzuki Man, El Dynamico, Chris, Denise. I apologize if I butchered your name, but welcome to the live stream. Happy to have you in here. We got Gusto, we've got Chris, we've got Todd. Man, the whole gang is here tonight. Good to see everyone. So let's see, what are some of the what are you guys sipping on tonight? Let's put some of those up on the screen. We've got Wing Addiction with a little vodka Coke. That's classic. Shamir's drinking water, as well as Lucas. And we've got Thomas with some OJ and vodka. What is that? Is that a screwdriver? Isn't that what they call that? I might have to fill up my water, guys. Todd's drinking a Liquid Death, which is canned water. I have not had one of those, but seems like an interesting thing. Zal's also drinking some water. Work and gym to follow. Good for you, my man. Keep it up. Keep those workouts going. Flurze's drinking a White Monster. Those are classic. Classic. Love White Monsters. Nieces and nephews drinking a lemonade. And Kevin, as always, drinking a Busch. Good stuff, man. Okay, so let's see. Some purchases here. I see a little KRC. I bought some KRC this week. I see some Johnson & Johnson. I see some more J&J and Bank of America. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Bank of America, too, a little bit later, because I've kind of got my eye on them a little bit. some UGI and Ally, MPW, lots of MPW, SCHD, JEPI, some more J&J, SCHD, Realty Income. Nice. Very nice. Okay, guys. Well, actually, I did see one comment that I wanted to pull up before we get into the main event. So did you talk to that guy in the gym about dividend investing? No, I did not talk to him about it yet. I've talked to him, just not about that yet. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what we're talking about, it's not really a big deal. Just a story that I told in last week's Dividend Happy Hour, but nothing too crazy. You're not really missing out. Let's see, guys. Okay, well, why don't we get into it, guys? So for those of you who are just now joining, it looks like there's about 125 of us in the live stream right now. Today we're talking about, I mean, we're not really going to get too in depth into what's going on in the stock market and in the banking industry and what's going on there. Because truth be told, I probably should read up on that a little bit more. But I more so want to talk about some of the reasons why personally I feel like it doesn't change things just from my strategy. And also, this will carry over to all of us dividend investors too, because as many of you guys know, it can be good when stocks go down in price, like a lot of what we're seeing right now. But guys, the very first reason I'm not really too concerned about all of this stuff is just dividend investing aside. And actually, let me take a step back. The reason I'm not super concerned specifically about an actual recession or even a full-fledged stock market crash, which fears of that are at an all-time high. It seems like not everyone, but a lot of people are thinking the whole system's coming down. You know, we're going to see 2008 and then some. It's going to be even worse. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? It'll be very interesting to see. But I know personally, if that does happen, I feel pretty at ease about the whole thing. And the first reason is because just from my personal financial situation, I feel like it's really good. And I hope a lot of you guys can say the same. I'm sure a lot of you guys can, because most of us dividend investors are pretty, I think, financially prudent people. But that's pretty much why. The reason number one, I'm not too concerned about this. I have basically zero debt. I've got maybe a few $100 on a couple different credit cards, but that's pretty much it. And I pay those down every single month. Okay, I've got a pretty solid cash position. I bet I have 5 to 7 months of expenses just saved up in the bank in cash. So feel really good there. And also, worst case scenario, if anything does really happen, anything crazy, and you know, I run out of cash or anything else happens, you know, I do have my portfolio to fall back on if need be. I really don't ever want to have to resort to that, which is why it's good actually to have a cash position, so you don't ever have to dip into your investment portfolio in tough times. But if worst case scenario something happens, I've got plenty of cushion there as well, which is great. So that's the first reason. But number two, the second reason I feel pretty good about going into any sort of recession or stock market crash, and actually, you know, feel decently excited about it, is because, you know, for the most part, my portfolio, and I know a lot of you guys can say the same as well, it's pretty defensive in nature. And actually, if we go over and take a look at it real quick, guys, over here on the screen, we're on Seeking Alpha. These are all my different holdings, and you'll see pretty much not every single one of them, but a lot of these stocks are more defensive and pretty, you know, decent companies like that should hold up during a recession and have been through previous ones, like Chevron. Apple's been through it. EPD, that's, you know, pretty defensive company. Johnson & Johnson, for sure. Coca-Cola, for sure. Lowe's, they could probably take a little hit because they're in the consumer discretionary sector, but still, they're a dividend king with almost 60 years of dividend growth, as we can see right here. So they've definitely been through the tough times. They were able to continue paying and growing this dividend through the dot-com bubble crash in the turn of the century, 2008, 2009, or 2007 to 2009 great financial crisis, as well as the COVID crash a couple years ago. They've been able to grow their dividend through those times and even longer as well, through the 80s and all throughout the 90s. So that's looking really good there. 3M, who knows what's going to happen with them? They're a little bit risky, but outside of the current litigation, 64 years of dividend growth. So, you know, I feel pretty good about Altry Group. I feel really good about Realty Income. Procter & Gamble, you guys already know how I feel about Procter & Gamble. I mean, come on. Starbucks, you know, once again, kind of like Lowe's, they're a discretionary company. But the thing about Starbucks, and let me know what you guys think about this in the live chat too. The thing about Starbucks is even during rougher times in the market, I mean, you guys know people are religious about their Starbucks. It is their daily routine. I know personally my mom and this will be the case in any market condition, I think. My mom goes to Starbucks every day. She gets her cold brew and she gets her egg bites. That's the morning routine on the way to work. And so many people across the world share that same sentiment. And that's another important thing to keep in mind too with Starbucks, is they are in, I think, 80 different countries around the world. They are huge international company. So I feel pretty good about owning Starbucks through all of this. But anyway, going back to the rest of my portfolio, and I want to actually come back to KRC in just a moment too. Snap-on, feel really good about Snap-on. Southern Company, very defensive utility company. AT&T and Verizon, I also feel really good about as well. I mean, I don't know exactly what people will do with their phone bills and their internet bills when times get really tough and they have to pinch pennies. But at this point, I think that these communication stocks, and they have a lot of debt. That's the one negative. But, they don't trade with a lot of volatility, and the companies themselves, the product or the service they offer rather, is kind of looked at more like utility right now. Like, could you guys ever imagine at this point, not having Wi-Fi or not having data for your phone, not being able to call or text or browse the internet? At this point, I just think that's something that's not, people are going to have to pay for, basically. They won't not pay for that, I should say. But anyway, going back to KRC real quick, and I won't spend too much time on this one, but one interesting thing we've seen through all of this this turmoil, this turbulence, these last couple of weeks or this last month, is companies like KRC. And this isn't the only one, but this is one example. MPW is another example for partly a different reason, but KRC has really taken a hit. A lot of real estate investment trusts actually have taken quite a big, this is my total change. I want my 1 month change. Let's go over here. Have taken quite a big hit in this last month. And in my portfolio, really a lot of stocks, most stocks are down in the red, but KRC has been my biggest loser this last month, down 23%. 23% just in the last 30 days. And the crazy thing is, there's not really anything particularly damaging about this company right now. Nothing really is going on. And the same is true, sort of, with MPW. Sort of. I mean, there's some risk with their tenants. A couple of them, Prospect is one of them. I think, what was the other one? Starts with an S. I know I've talked about it before. Let me know in the live chat. Help me out real quick, guys. What's MPW's? Steward. Right? Steward. So those two tenants have been causing MPW some issues, but it doesn't seem that it's going to completely wreck the company. And it seems like outside of that, there's a lot of other things that are bringing this stock share price down. Like, they have a huge short sell against them. A lot of people are shorting MPW right now, so that's definitely impacting their share price. But also, this whole banking thing is impacting other real estate investment trusts like MPW as well, along with continually rising interest rates. So that's definitely having an impact. But I thought that was pretty interesting to see. But anyway, guys, the third reason why I'm really kind of excited, at least not concerned about what's going to happen next in the market, whether there's a full-on crash or whatnot, is, and this is true with all of us. We're playing the long game here. Okay, we are, as dividend investors, we buy and hold. We don't buy to just flip stocks at a profit. We buy and hold for the long term. And so with that said, as good old Warren Buffett likes to say, let's pull this up here. He is, you can see that at the bottom of the screen, he is a net buyer of stocks. When stocks go down, it's good news because like him, we are net buyers of stocks. So if all we're doing every single week is buying stocks, then it's obviously a good thing if they're going down in share price, right? As long as the dividend doesn't get impacted, for sure. But if you build your portfolio to be, for the most part, defensive and have those companies like the Pepsis, the Coca-Colas, Waste Managements, Costco's, Lowe's, Home Depot, Starbucks, Kimberly-Clark's, we can keep going on and name some more defensive companies. But as long as your portfolio is filled for the most part with ones like that are more stable, more secure, this could actually be a good thing for us because we'll have the opportunity. And this is so cliche at this point. You guys, we could talk about this and have till we're blue in the face, but it's good just to be able to buy these great companies at a lower share price, especially these ones who have been through a lot of this before, and are more experienced and probably better positioned to go through it again. It's a good thing to pick. It's a good time to pick some of those up. And another, I mean, let's actually go back to Seeking Alpha real quick. You know, and it's interesting to see these big banks. I mean, it's not surprising to see this reaction, but it's interesting to see these big banks coming down in share price where they're at. I mean, just a month ago, Bank of America, for example, was sitting at $35 per share, almost $35.50 per share. And so just in the last month, down over 20%, and it's inching in closer and closer to about $25 per share. And in fact, I have a price alert set for Bank of America at $26 per share. Sorry, guys, I'm tripping over my words tonight. So I have a price target set for Bank of America, $26 per share. And I do think if it gets down there, depending on what it does, if it gets down there super quick and it looks like it's going to keep going, I'll hold off. But I actually might start a position in Bank of America if it gets a little bit lower. That's the bank that I use. And so, and I, you know, going through all this, I'd feel much more secure holding a bigger bank in my portfolio going through all of this, especially considering after what happened with the great financial crisis, and you guys know this, a lot of you do, more strict regulations were imposed on these bigger banks to make sure this doesn't happen again. And so with that said, you know, I'd feel better owning these bigger banks, and you might as well pick them up if they're coming down in share price. And I've been looking for a good bank for a while. I was kind of looking at some of the regional banks. I mean, we saw earlier in the video what happened with ones like OZK or LNC or CFG. Those are down so freaking much. And that's, you know, I'm actually looking at the comments. Thomas here said, I wouldn't mind taking a position in Schwab as well. And that's another one, actually. Let's take a look at that, because that's another one I was looking at too. And I don't quite understand why they're down so much. Let me actually shrink this so we can see more. Sorry, guys. Let me zoom out. And I have not read on what exactly is going on with Charles Schwab to make them drop so much. Let me see if it'll say here. Something with, this is it right here. Drops on report block trade offered. I don't know. I'll have to read more into it. But looking at their share price performance, they're down 30% in the last month, which is crazy. And if we look at the financials for Schwab, like they're a company that just keeps growing and growing. So if we look at their total revenues, that's really consistent growth. That's definitely a good sign, and I think their earnings per share is seeing a similar trend right here, yeah, for sure. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this company's negative net debt, yeah. So I mean, they have $43 billion in total debt, but on a net basis, they have negative $42 billion. So that's pretty comfy. I do really like to see that, and pretty nice dividend stats. Low yield, low payout ratio, high 5-year growth rate. Not the best growth history, but I'm guessing maybe they cut it back in 2020, or at least didn't grow it. Yeah, it looked like all through 2020 and 2021, they did not grow that dividend, but still paid it. So that's looking good, and they've got 33 years of consistent payments. So anyway, guys, pretty quick spiel. I know that wasn't anything too crazy, but those are the 3 reasons why I'm not too concerned going into this whatever market environment this is. Whatever happens next, I guess, in other words, whatever happens next, I'm pretty prepared. And so I want to put it back on you guys, though. Like, how do you guys feel about this whole thing? Do you think a market crash is on the way? Do you think we're in for some trouble? Or do you think a lot of this stuff that's been going on in the news this last couple of weeks is overblown? Let me know what you think about in the live chat. And if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get some of your guys' thoughts on this. And I've had a pretty busy week, and I would have loved to have included more information in this stream. I truthfully did not have a lot of time to put this together, but this weekend I'm going to be reading up a bit more on a lot of what's going on. I've got a lot of Seeking Alpha articles to catch up on, a lot of YouTube videos. So that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. In addition to, you guys can't see it really. There's some boxes right over here. I bought some new furniture for the office this week. So hopefully by next week's live stream, I will have like a couch right there with a coffee table. I got a little bit of lamp. I got a lamp over there. The lighting's probably going to look different. There's a lot of natural light coming in, but I'm going to try and play with some things to maybe switch up the look here. So anyway, that's what's going on. Where'd Peanut go? Oh. So anyway, that's what's been going on. I want to hear what you guys have to say about all of this stuff. And then I have an announcement to share with you guys regarding the dividend happy hour. It's a good one, I think. So let's see here though. So your guys' thoughts. Po Boy thinks we're in for some trouble. Down, down, down. Mountain High thinks the same. Markets should be coming down. Brewer definitely thinks the same. Market crash is coming, and a recession is coming if it's not already here. Okay, and then TCAF says, I think the market will recover just in time for it to go back down in a small recession. Okay. And then Dominique here says, yep, down is coming. So a lot of you guys are thinking thinking things are about to get a lot worse, which it very well might. It very well might. But Shamir's got the right mindset here. I don't know, but I'm buying regardless if I can continue to average down. So let's see. Yeah, Dan here says, this is a really good point. I've been a dividend investor since 2009. Nothing bothers me. Stocks go up and down, but dividends are forever. And that's something too, like, my mother-in-law called me. I was talking to her earlier this week, and she's got a couple stocks. She's got like Coca-Cola. She's got Costco. She's got maybe Starbucks, perhaps. I think she's got Starbucks, but then she also has some other ones like Lululemon and Peloton. She's a big Lululemon shopper, is religious about her Peloton. She's got like 1,000-day streak on her Peloton. Pretty nuts. So she's doing really good with that. And then she's also got some Ethereum as well, which she actually bought for like one Ethereum for like $400. This was a couple years ago. Sorry guys, I hear peanut. And so anyway, she called me and she was like, hey, I'm just trying to figure out I don't know if you guys hear peanut, but I'm trying to figure out what should I do here? Like, I hear all this stuff about the market's going to crash. Hold on. Hey. Sorry, guys. What are you doing? I do not know what he's doing. Sorry, guys. I just hear him meowing, and I'm like, I hope he's okay. But anyway, so she calls me, and she's concerned. I hear that the market's going to crash, and I'm just wondering, what should I do with the stocks that I have? Should I sell them? Should I hold on to them? I'm just kind of concerned, not really sure what to expect, because the news, all we see in the news is, bad stuff's coming. And so I told her kind of the same thing I said to you guys here. Like, if you think that you're holding on to good companies, I mean, you've got some that maybe aren't as tried and true, like Peloton, maybe even Ethereum, obviously not a company, but, still some more speculative kind of things, I would say, not as stable, not as secure. I don't exactly know what to do about those because it's not really my forte. I'm more the dividend stock guy. I like dividend stocks. And you've got some of those. You've got the Coca-Cola, you've got your Starbucks, you've got your Costco. Not a huge dividend, but, still technically counts. So going into all this, I would just focus on those. I would focus on the companies that are good. And if you can say that Coca-Cola is going to be around another 10, 15, 20 years. Same with Costco, same with Starbucks, same with these other ones you have, then it might actually be a good thing. It might actually be a good time to buy. And the cool thing is that when I explained it that way, she actually understood it and it actually made sense. Most people, they just see these stocks as these things that go up and down and up and down. And, automatically get scared to dip their toe in the water because they're afraid of it going down and losing money. But when you put it that way, when you show that there's actually could be a silver lining here, then it doesn't seem nearly as scary. In fact, it seems a bit more exciting. So I think that was a good conversation to have. Anyway, kind of a random story, but back to you guys. I want to see some more like what you guys have to say. So Jim here says, not looking for a market crash, looking for a market stall with a pullover to the side of the highway. Okay. Yes. Nice. Oh, this is a good question. So Thomas, any live stream stock buying coming like the old Market Mondays? Not at this point, but hang on, because I do have an announcement about live streams. I'm going to get to that pretty soon. And I do like the Market Monday ideas. I want to talk about that a little bit later in the video. Let's see. Po' boy, feeling pretty good. Generational opportunities are on the horizon. Gusto says these drops are definitely due to the bailouts and the shaky U.S. dollar, central bank issues. Yeah. Yeah, Bill, if the GFC is any teacher, we are going to see a down market this year. What are you guys talking about there? Anyway, sorry, I got lost in the comments there. Let's see here. Where was I? James said, I think we will revisit October lows. Yes. Nice. Let's see. Steven says it'll be just fine. Things will be just fine. And then Thomas, interest rates are going to be a huge factor for sure. And then Kevin, financials will continue to bleed. So that's something I think too. I think in the short term, at least in the short term, we'll definitely see things continue to go down. But that's the thing. You just never really know how severe these things are going to get. And I don't know. I feel this is another reason why I just feel so good about this strategy, because it just makes it so simple. Things aren't changing. Whether the market's going up or whether the market's going down, just going to keep on buying, playing the long game, as Todd says right here. And just, keep acquiring those assets, keep acclimating that cash flow. That's what we do. So anyway, we'll come back to some of the comments, guys. I want to switch gears real quick. Sorry. Ryan, if I understand, you are not worried about the stock market crash. Yes, I'm not worried about it. Anyway, I want to switch gears real quick, and because I do have an announcement about Dividend Happy Hour, live streams, and stuff like that. So I don't know exactly when this will happen. It will either be in the next week or in the next couple or few weeks. Ideally by the end of the month. I'm starting to put it all together and hoping to have it ready to rock by the end of the month. But pretty soon, and I'll let you guys know more details as I have them. Pretty soon I will be starting a Patreon. I'm going down that road. And what we're going to do there, there's going to be a couple different tiers. I'm still working it out. But the main thing that it's going to be is we're going to do more Dividend Happy Hours over there. So how it's going to work whenever it goes live is nothing will change here. We're still going to do our weekly Dividend Happy Hour every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. But then after that first hour, we're going to jump over and we're going to do what's going to be called Dividend Happy Hour after hours. So it's going to be an additional probably 30 minutes to an hour of live stream every single week, every Friday night, right after the regular Dividend Happy Hour. And I'm still working on the format and how it's going to work, but this kind of ties back to who said it here? I think it was Thomas. Kind of what Thomas was saying, talking about live stream stock buying like the old Market Mondays. It's not necessarily going to be that, but I also do, once I get acclimated with doing an additional 30 minutes or an hour, I would like to, through Patreon, I would like to do an additional live stream every single week on a different day, whether it's Sunday mornings or whether it's Monday mornings, and do like the Market Mondays. That's something I would like to do at some point. I'm just trying to do one thing at a time. But that's pretty much the announcement, guys. More Dividend Happy Hour on the way. It will be through Patreon, which I'm hoping to, like I said, have live sometime in the next couple weeks, next few weeks. And there's going to be some other offerings there as well. I'm also going to offer, all of my videos are going to be going live early on the Patreon, so you'll be able to watch them a day or a couple days before they go live on YouTube. Some other stuff I'm putting together. But that's the main exciting thing is more Dividend Happy Hour. And also I'm going to be, and I've showed you guys this before, I'm going to be giving away or offering, let me pull it up here. Along with that Dividend Happy Hour, extra hour, after hours, this spreadsheet as well. So anyone who signs up to Patreon will get this spreadsheet, the stock analyzer spreadsheet, along with some more Dividend Happy Hour. So it's going to be a fun thing. But that's pretty much the announcement. I mean, I probably didn't do the best job of explaining it, but I'm still putting it together, and hopefully all of that will be rocking and rolling in the next week or the next couple weeks. But I'll definitely keep you guys posted. And what Louis said here, we need to make the Ryan, Russ, KC debate live happen. So, I mean, I love talking to Russ. I mean, I'm sure I'll have him on again sometime soon. KC will never, from what KC says, KC will never hop on a video. I doubt it. I doubt KC will ever come on the live. I doubt we'll ever see KC in video or voice format. I think KC is just a writer. So anyway, but that would be fun. KC has a lot of knowledge, so it's been fun having KC aboard. So high tech. Real quick, with the Patreon. Easy says, I'll pay for you to review my portfolio live. There's going to be some of that as well. Like I'm chewing on some formats for the additional dividend happy hour, for the after hours, I should say. And I'd like to do maybe some portfolio reviews. I'd like to maybe do like portfolio updates in my portfolio every week. Probably some like live stock analysis, more Q&A, stuff like that. So anyway. Yeah, and then Chris says you got to be on point with the price. Yeah, I mean, it won't be anything crazy, just like $100 a month. So yeah, it won't break the bank for you, Chris. It's all good. No, I'm just kidding. It won't be that much. Definitely won't be that much. Yeah, it'll probably be somewhere around $8 or so. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's see. I didn't say anything. Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, 40 bands. We're gonna call it something like after hours. It's gonna be dividend happy hour after hours. I don't know. We'll call it something like that. What is I want to know what this means. Did this as well ruin the community? Now half his sentences start with we talked about this already in the blank. No, I mean don't put that on me. Let's see. Okay, Phil wants to know, oops. What are you eyeing next week, Ryan? So that's a good question. So let me actually pull up my portfolio right now. Let me see kind of where some of my holdings are at. So this week, just so you know, I bought some KRC this week. And if you guys, let's see. Yeah, I actually bought KRC and ORCC this week. So I bought 4 shares of KRC, bought 8 shares of ORCC. Next week, let me pull this back up. Next week, honestly, I might go back to something like Johnson & Johnson, or let's see, something like Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson, I'm down 7%. So I could average down there. Excuse me, Procter & Gamble, I'm only up about 3%, so that's not too bad. But I could load the boat on Johnson & Johnson next week. Okay, here's what I think I'll do. I think Johnson & Johnson, for sure, I'll add some too. I think I might keep picking up a little bit more KRC, though. Here's the thing with KRC, though. God, guys, I am not, I'm just like not on it with the words tonight. The thing with KRC, and I know I said this earlier, but I just don't think there's nothing really inherently going wrong with the company. Like, they're firing on all cylinders, still putting up good numbers. Interest rates rising are not good for REITs in general, which is something that's bringing their share price down. But I think a lot of this other stuff going on is having an impact on KRC. But anyway, long story short, this stock is just like really continuing to go down. And I'm down like 30-something% right now. It's quickly become one of my biggest losers, unfortunately. But I just don't see anything wrong with the company. And so I'm like, I don't know. I have a hard time not buying it. So I might add some more KRC and Johnson & Johnson next week. That's kind of looking like the move. Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, Thomas, do you know or have you talked with Jake from Dividend Growth Investing? A chat with him would be cool. I have not really talked to Jake. I really like his videos, though. I think he's doing a great job. I do think a chat with him would be cool. I think okay, here's a handful of people that I think would be fun to chat with. I think Jake would be cool. Oh, no, Jake from Dividend Growth Investing. Who am I thinking of? I think his name's Nick. Dividend Growth Investing. Which one's Dividend Growth? Oh, okay. I'm thinking of dividend growth income. No, Jake from I really like dividend growth investing. Before I actually started making videos, I was watching a lot of Jake's videos. I still watch all of his videos, but he's definitely someone who inspired me to start talking about this stuff. So I really would love to chat with him at some point. I'd love to talk to PPC Ian at some point. That's like a dream of mine. I'd love to chat with I'd love to talk more, like have God, there's so many people. I'd love to talk to Dividendology. I'd love to talk to there's a couple other people, the diplomats, dividend diplomats, those guys would be fun to have on. There's a couple people though, like dividend growth investing, dividend growth income. That's why I was thinking of it first. Dividendology, I think they stay pretty private, and so I think it'd be weird. They obviously don't show their face or anything in their video, so I just don't know how it would work I don't know how it would work having one person on video, the other person not. I don't know. I don't exactly know how that would work, but I'm open to it. I'd love to chat with those guys. Kevin Burgess, I think it'd be so fun to have a live stream with Kevin, Russ, and myself. I really enjoy, obviously I have Russ on here all the time. Love chatting with Russ. Love it when Harris comes on. Love it when Darth comes on. Those guys are like my homies. Like I would talk to those guys every week and do something with those guys every week if schedule permitted. Someone else said something. Oh, Nolan, Professor G. I should have him on soon. I'm actually going to talk with him on Sunday. Not on my channel. We're doing something for his. But Nolan's one of my homies. JJ Buckner's one of my homies. I'd love to have him on the Dividend Happy Hour too. I'd love to have both those guys on actually. I have a lot of really good friends in this community. That's been one of the awesome things about having this channel, is just being able to meet all of you guys or connect with all you guys here and meet all the other, creators who are talking about their dividend investing journeys. It's been really cool. And I know I say this all the time, but it's just really, it's a really positive community of people. So I'm looking forward to talking to more people. And yeah, I'm sure at some point a lot of these things will happen. So let's see here. Let's keep going. Keep going. Oh, Zal, did you see Dividendology shouted out your MPW video alongside Fast Graphs? I did see that. That was a huge honor to be mentioned along with those guys. But honestly, dude, I feel like both those guys know so much more about investing than I do. It's not even funny. I don't at all deserve to be mentioned in the same sentence as those guys. But I really appreciate Dividendology for doing that. He's a good guy. Let's see. Let's see here. Keep going. I'm only 3 minutes behind in the live chat. That's interesting, actually. Oh, Gen X Dividend Investor. Love Gen X. He's one of my favorite channels. Dividend Bowl. I love watching Dividend Bowl as well. Diplomats. Those guys are awesome, for sure. Yeah. What about Meet Kevin about market sentiment? I don't know. I don't know if I could hang with that guy. He's I don't watch as many videos from Kevin anymore as I used to, but who knows? Maybe at some point. Russ, are we caught up in the comments yet? And why are we not talking about Rick? Man, well, we were waiting for you to join so we could talk about Rick. So now that you're here, let's have at it, guys. Oh, and Ari too. Love Ari, man. Ari, you know what's so? I have Ari. Ari and I are friends on Instagram, or we follow each other on Instagram, and I don't ever think I've seen him post a story or a post or anything where he's not smiling. Ari is happy all the time, and he's like one of the most uplifting dudes to talk to. I'd say he's a really good guy, and I don't know. I think Ari and I would be really good friends if we like lived in the same town. I think we'd be hanging out all the time. I could say the same too about Harris. I could say the same about Russ. I could say the same about Darth. All of my good friends, though. All of my good friends in this community. I talk to a lot of those guys pretty regularly. So great group of guys. Yeah, and then get Kevin on. His stock analysis is superb. Man, I learned so much from watching Kevin. It's not even funny. I really enjoy listening to Kevin and watching him too. Um, you all could start a legit version of Millennial Money 2.0. Just kidding. No, I mean, I think that would be so much fun just to have. Okay, I'm gonna share this with you guys. So I have this idea. I don't know if it'll ever actually happen, but it's something that I kind of just had in the back of my mind. And if it ever the opportunity ever arises, like I'm down. But I thought it would be really fun to have something like that, to have some sort of um, like dividend investing super group of us who get together every week, and it's some sort of long form, whether it's a live stream like this where we're just talking, or whether it's a podcast or something like that, right? Where we just get together, we talk about dividends every week. But this group, I thought it'd be really cool to, and you'd have to get an LLC, you'd have to get some sort of license to do this, business license. I thought it'd be really cool to make it into like an investing club where this group of investors, probably 3 or 4 different people, start talking, coming together every week to talk dividend stocks. Maybe it's like a market recap or what we bought or whatever. But then we have this portfolio, basically this portfolio that we all share, and we just grow that portfolio, and that's like the premise. And the idea was inspired by actually like my dad. So my dad and his group of friends, for the last 20 something years, they've had an investment club. And I think these used to be a really popular thing back in the day. I don't think they're so popular anymore. But back, or when they, tripping over my words, guys. I'm on one tonight. But so basically what they do, him and his best friends, there's a group of maybe 5 or 6 different couples, and they'll do that. They'll meet up once a month. They call it the investment club, and they'll meet up once a month. It's an excuse to all get together, and every single month, I think it's every month, each couple invests like $100 each into this portfolio. So every month they're contributing to it, coming together to talk about the portfolio, what we should buy, what we should sell, what are our next moves, how are things looking, and it's just been a really fun thing for them to do. It's an excuse for them to get together, and then they use some of the funds from the portfolio to go do fun things together, go on trips, or invest in other things. It's become like a really, really fun thing. And so, long story short, I thought that would be a really really cool thing to do with like my group of investor friends. But I don't know if it'll ever happen or not. If it does, that'd be cool. But an idea I'm keeping in the back of my head. I think that'd be a lot of fun for us, though. Okay, so Paolo wants to know, and I want to see your guys' comments because I'm sure I'm missing some. I'm about 5 minutes behind in the chat. Ryan, this week I had a good / long convo about REITs in a taxable account, which is not advantageous compared to if you had them in an IRA. Can you comment on that? What is your opinion? What is your take? Yeah, I mean, it's certainly more tax advantageous to have REITs in a Roth IRA because obviously it's tax free. REITs are taxed as ordinary income. It's just not the best situation. And there's different schools of thoughts on this for sure, but this is kind of where I stand on that. First of all, I agree for sure, but I also think it's a bit more nuanced. And I really think when talking about taxable versus Roth IRA, some attention to the individual's timeline when they plan to retire, when they're hoping to live off dividends. Some attention to that is deserved, I think, because that does play a role. Like if you're someone who's planning to retire, pretty standard timeline, right? Like you get the 9 to 5, you're doing that till maybe 60, 65, maybe 70, just depending on where you're at, what you do. But anyway, you're doing the standard thing. Then I think it makes sense to prioritize that Roth IRA. But on the other hand, and this is kind of where I'm at, if you're someone who, and I think a lot of us who watch these videos are kind of like this, I think a lot of us are planning to retire early. Like, I don't know, probably considerably before 59 and a half, 55 even, 50, 45. Some of us maybe luckily mid to early 40s. I think if you're someone who falls into that camp, then it makes more sense to prioritize a taxable account just because your timeline's different. And I mean, you don't want to be, how do I say this? You don't want to be retiring at 43 and then not being able to access your Roth until, for another 15 years. And kind of how I approach this, like, because I obviously have my taxable, I have my Roth, and pretty soon I'm actually going to bump up my contributions to the Roth where it'll be closer to being maxed out. But I invest more money into my taxable because I am someone who likes to, or who wants to retire considerably before 59 and a half. But with that said, you never know what can happen. You just never know what can happen, especially when you're almost 30 years old and are trying to predict the next 30 years or next 30 years or so. It's impossible to do. So you never know what can happen along the way. Plans might change, things might get derailed, things might be, that plan might be decelerated, and the timeline might become longer. And so in that case, I do think I just think it's good to have a backup and have that Roth IRA and have that retirement account going and contributing to it as much as you can. So, in regards to REITs in an IRA versus taxable, I mean, I have mine in my taxable. It's not the best situation, but I am hoping to use that income considerably before 59 and a half. And at the same time, I still have my Roth IRA. So at some point, I will still be able to benefit from some nice tax-free income. So hopefully that answers your question. I know that was a very roundabout way to do so, and I apologize there, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. Let's see. Ray says, you should chat with non-dividend investors. I follow a bunch of people doing all kinds of investments. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against other people doing other types of investments, but, I try to think about this from, I try to think about you guys when I'm putting together topics and what videos are going to be put out, because I want you guys to be entertained and I want you to get the information you're looking for. And, a lot of us, like I personally, as a consumer, like I don't care to hear someone talk about Palantir. I don't really care to hear someone talk about Spotify. I just don't care about things that aren't, I don't really care to hear someone, well, I'm kind of into real estate, but I don't really care to hear someone talk about things that aren't really related to dividend investing or what I'm interested in general, which is dividend investing and I guess real estate too. So I wouldn't want to, nothing against those people, but I don't know the benefit to the audience, to you guys, to bring someone on and have them talk about crypto. And I just don't know really what I can add to that conversation. I might change my school of thought on this down the road. But when it comes to, wow, it's starting to get really dark. When it comes to talking to people, what I'm most curious about, this is my favorite thing to learn about when I'm talking to other investors, other dividend investors specifically, is two things. Like, number one, like, what got you into investing in the first place? Because it's such a, especially for people who are about my age or somewhere, kind of in this age range, it's such a unique thing. Like, none of my friends invest, none of my friends care about this stuff. And so I'm really interested to hear what got people into investing and what it was that they kind of started them down that path. And furthermore, like, how did you get into dividend investing specifically? Why this style of investing? What is it about this for you that really tickles your fancy? So when I'm talking to people or thinking about talking to people, those are things that I'm especially concerned about or interested in or curious about, I should say. And so, like I said, I just don't really know what benefit it would bring to have someone on to talk about crypto or have someone on to talk about growth stocks. Hopefully that makes sense. So Luis, any ideas on bringing on some of the subscribers for portfolio reviews and discussions? Not really here, but I am really thinking about doing some of that stuff through Patreon, like doing portfolio reviews and maybe some like small group discussions, whether it's like Discord live chats or some other stuff. Excuse me. I am thinking about doing some more of that stuff. And as far as the portfolio reviews, because I get asked about that a lot, I'm just trying to figure out the best way to facilitate that, and how people can go about sharing their portfolios. And the way I see it, just kind of thinking out loud, I think there's a couple different ways that can work. Like number one, if someone uses like the free portfolio tracking spreadsheet that I made, then that's easy. They can just share the link to their spreadsheet. We can look at it. Number two, if someone uses like M1 Finance, that's super easy as well because you can just share the link. We can go and look at all your holdings. And number three, the dividend tracker as well. Like you can share a link to view someone's dividend tracker portfolio. So I think it could work in that capacity if someone's using any of those. But like I said, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to make that happen. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Let me see. What's this? Oh, yes. Talk with two stupid guy trade stocks. They are very genuine. I think that's in reference to like talking to people who aren't into dividend investing. And really like kind of going back on that for a second. I really don't. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent for this style of investing and it's what I like to do. But I don't, I try not to throw shade at anyone who's doing other things. Like trading crypto or trading, day trading or Forex or, I don't know, stuff like that. And I know some of you guys are into that stuff too. Like I know Chris, he's super big into swing trading and makes it work. But I know like for me personally, that's just not, I'm just not very interested in it. Like if I had someone on who was a day trader, this is what the conversation would be. It'd be like, oh, so how did you get into day trading? Okay, well, like, so how does it go for you? Do you just, oh, okay, you just buy them and then hopefully they go up and you sell them? Oh, okay. What if they go down? Oh, then you lose money. Yeah. But do you like, how often do you like, would you say you win more or you lose more? Okay, well, that's good. See, like, that's like all I really have to offer to a conversation like that. Charles, I think Dividend Bowl also mentioned you. I have not seen that. I watch every single one of Dividend Bowl's videos. Charles, if that's, I hope you're not yanking my chain because that would make my day. I love Dividend Bowl. If you're able to find like a link for that, or if that's a real thing and you're able to find that, would you mind sharing that link with me, please? I'd love to see that. Ryan, you should do a collab with Jacob. Yes, dude, I would love to talk to Jacob. I want to know, man, I don't know. I think Jacob stopped making videos kind of for good. I hope he comes back to it at some point because he's really smart and he's got a lot of great information. And he was doing great with his channel when he was making videos. So I'd love to see Jacob back on YouTube. Todd, you and JJ would be a great happy hour. Yeah, I think so too, Todd. JJ's a great guy. he's pretty funny. Him, Nolan, and I, Professor G, we have a group chat. We talk pretty often. Also, Russ, Darth, Ari, and I have a group chat. Russ, Harris, and I talk all the time. There's just a lot of good people. There's just a lot of, I don't know. I got some really good friends in this community. I'm very fortunate. Okay. Let's see. Let me keep going. We have about 7 minutes here in 7 more minutes in the live stream. So guys, I'm just scrolling through the comments right now, trying to get caught up and see what I missed here. Let's see here. Sorry guys, let me see here. You guys are just talking amongst yourselves. Easy, Ryan, what do you work in? So this is actually like my full-time gig. I went full-time doing YouTube stuff and whatnot back in October, and when I first went full-time, I was just like, I'm just gonna try it for a few months and see how it goes, see if it see if like dedicating all my time and attention to this makes a difference in the growth of the channel, financially, whatnot. And slowly but surely, I'd say it has. I thought I didn't think it'd be sustainable, but I've definitely noticed a difference in the channel. Like the channel growth has definitely taken off since I just started doing this and nothing else. Financially, that's steadily increasing as well, and it's really cool. Like I'm not making a huge ton of money doing it, but it's starting to become like an actual decent living. And so I'm just trying to keep that going and trying to keep growing this thing slowly but surely. Let's see. Let's see. Darth's in the building. What's up, Darth? Okay, I really gotta scroll down on these. I really gotta catch up on these comments because I'm about 7 minutes behind. This is actually a good question. Is it legal for you to review other people's portfolios? I actually don't know. I know I know Jake from Dividend Growth Investing does it. I know a couple other people do it. I need to look into that because that is actually a good question. Okay, Phil wants to know, when you get paid, how do you allocate your funds for investment? Do you take a certain amount and split it weekly, or do you just invest all at once? So every single week I invest the same amount. I invest $150 into the taxable, $50 into my Roth IRA. But pretty soon, I'm going to be able to bump up my Roth contributions to a point where, honestly, they probably will match my taxable contributions. And if I do that, what's 150 times 52? So, 1 times. So, and if I went 150 into the Roth IRA, that's how much it would be in a year. So 7,800, that's more than you could actually contribute to a Roth. So what's 6,500 divided by 52 weeks? So 125. So pretty soon, actually starting probably starting either next month or the month after, I should be able to start being able to max out my Roth IRA. And so that's going to be my goal. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question. Sorry. Let's see. Russ wants to know, any plans to allocate a portion to non-dividend stocks? Not at this time. Not at this time. I really don't have an interest in doing that. And Russ, I think you and I have kind of talked about that before. I think we talked about that either last week or the time before that you were on the stream. Kind of where my mind's at with that. I mean, number one, I just don't really have an interest in doing that. That doesn't scratch any super bad itch for me. So it doesn't really do anything for me. But at the same time, I just figure any extra money or any additional money that I have to invest, I'd like to just put that into more dividend stocks, just because this is what I love doing. This is like my main goal is to live off my dividend income someday. So, or at least some sort of cash flow. So I don't really want to deter from doing that. And so any money that's not going into that is just not really in line with my main objective, I'd say. The only exception is like if I wanted to do more real estate, which is something that I'm thinking about and would love to at some point. But the thing is, I mean, my funds are kind of limited right now, and so every spare amount that I have, I just want to put into what I'm already doing. And I just think the same is going to be true as my income continues to grow. which it has, and I know it will continue doing so. So when talking about retiring early, at this rate, just with how much I'm investing right now, I should be able to do it probably by early 50s, like probably by the time I'm 50, is kind of what I'm looking at, just based on how I've crunched the numbers. But as time goes on, like I just think my income will continue to go up, and so hopefully that means I can expedite that a bit more. So I don't know. It's a long road. Let's see. I'm pretty much caught up in the live chat now, actually. It's cool. Oh, it's already 6 o'clock. And also, guys, I'm down at the comments. You guys are just saying some nice things, I think, about just growing the channel more and all that stuff. So I really appreciate you guys always supporting the channel and support what I'm doing here. It really means a lot. I'm just like, I feel so fortunate that I'm able to do this, So I'm just trying to keep it going as long as I can, because this is like, it doesn't get any better than this, guys. Let me tell you. So yeah, I'm super fortunate. I hope it keeps growing. As time goes on, I'm not trying to add too much to my plate, but I am trying to, do more things and kind of, yeah, just do more things. But I'm trying to take it one step at a time, and I feel really good about where the channel's at. I'm really loving what I'm doing with my weekly newsletter. I think the Patreon's going to be a lot of fun as well. And so I'm excited to dip into that. And I think that'll help me, obviously that'll help me keep this thing growing. It'll help me continue to keep it a full-time thing, and hopefully continue to expand it, because that's really my goal. It's just one step at a time. Like building a YouTube channel around dividend investing, it's actually a lot like building a dividend portfolio. It's just brick by brick. It's like one week at a time. Every single week you invest in your portfolio. Every single week you put out a video or you do something, and it grows little by little, brick by brick. And so I'm just, I don't know. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to do this, and sometimes I just don't. I'm still like in shock that you guys even come and watch my gibberish. Zal says here, might be too late, but did you see there is? Yes, I did see this, and I have a video in my watch later from CoffeeZilla. He put it out talking about this, and I'm really interested to watch it. I know Meet Kevin actually put out a video talking about it. I didn't watch that one yet. But as far as I know, none of the other creators who are mentioned in that, like Graham, Jeremy, Tom Nash. Who's the Minority Mindset? Is that his channel? He's in there too. So anyway, let's see. Let us see here. I think this is a pretty good place. I'm just kind of getting caught up in the comments, just scrolling through real quick again, guys. But I'm thinking about dividend. It's speculative, not investing. Okay, this is like one of the last questions, I think. Then it's time to hit the road. So, Ryan, trying to retire early and enjoy life with family. Can't decide if I want to invest in JEPI with other companies offering higher dividends since the market is down. To invest in JEPI with other companies. Cody, if it was me, I would prioritize other companies before something like Jeppy. And once again, this just kind of goes back to your timeline, man. Like, if you still have a decade plus, a couple decades left of investing, then I don't know. I just think it makes sense to go the dividend growth route. I think it's okay to have some high yielders for sure. I mean, I certainly do, but especially right now as stock prices are coming down, I would prioritize some of those better companies like the Procter and Gamble's and the Lowe's, and even even if Apple and Microsoft come down some more, the ones like that offer more stability, more dividend growth, and ones that aren't typically at a discount. If the markets keep going down, those are the ones that I would prioritize. But nothing wrong with Jeppy. I certainly have Jeppy in my portfolio. I haven't bought it for a while, but there's just other things. Like I would keep a smaller allocation of Jeppy at this point. But at the same time, having said that, I did recently put out a video talking about how like SCHD and Jeppy is like the dividend dream team, and I still kind of maintain that. The one asterisk, I can never pronounce that word right, but the one caveat to that is the long-term performance of Jeppy, since it's only been around since 2020. So it's really tough to say what it's going to do over a long period of time. And that's like the one, I guess, hiccup with that ETF so far. But I do think like Jeppy and SCHD would make a pretty solid pair. So let's see. So Gusto, it might be a good idea to offer your, and I know I'm going over, guys. We might just be going a little bit longer tonight. It might be a good idea to offer your Patreon for free the first couple of months to bring in more followers at first. I actually like that idea, but the thing about Patreon is you can't, once you have patrons at a certain, once you have patrons in a certain tier, you can't change the price from there. So I don't think I could actually be like, it's free for the first month, and then after that it's, X dollars. But I do like that idea, but I just don't think it's feasible unless I did it behind like my own, unless I hosted it myself. And that's something I might do down the road. I don't really know, but Patreon's it's such an easy way to get started and get set up doing this stuff. And also a lot of people who watch YouTube are also subscribe to certain creators' Patreon. So it's already easy. A lot of people are already using Patreon, so it's not like a whole additional platform that they have to use, if that makes sense. Charles says, we watch you because you're cool and not a you know what, bro. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And I'm not perfect, but I do try and keep it real with you guys as best as I can. So, and I know you guys keep me honest too, which is very helpful. So thank you, man. Guys, I know I said I was going to go, and we'll go here soon. We will. Let's see. Actually, I'm caught up. I think this is pretty much it. Yeah. Did someone say something about portfolio reviews here? I don't think so. Oh. This is good. Thoughts on Intuit. Love Intuit. I think it's a really great. I think it's a really underrated company too. You don't hear a lot of people talking about Intuit. I mean, the financials are looking great. The dividend yield is not too hot. It's less than 1%, but you look at that dividend growth rate, forget about it. Intuit, love Intuit. The thing though with Intuit, I actually looked into them and I was considering adding them to my portfolio, but the thing about software I feel like is that it is pretty competitive. Like obviously, let's think about MailChimp, for example, which is one of the softwares that TurboTax owns. So not softwares, but you know what I mean. So MailChimp's an email provider. That's what I use for my newsletters, actually. And I really enjoy using it, but there's so many other email marketing platforms out there. You've got, I don't know if HubSpot's one. Anyway, long story short, there's a ton of other email marketing platforms out there. The same is true with things like QuickBooks. There's other tax softwares out there. And what's the other one that they have? Or not QuickBooks, I meant TurboTax. But then QuickBooks too, like accounting and bookkeeping software. There's a lot of them out there. And as time goes on, it's getting easier and easier to make different softwares. But the advantage that QuickBooks and TurboTax and MailChimp have is that they've got solid brand recognition, and they are the like go-to softwares for those particular things. Like you think of tax software, you think of TurboTax. You think of accounting software, most of the time you think of QuickBooks. MailChimp is certainly one of the more premier email marketing softwares. They've been around a long time. But you know how it goes. Okay, Brandon wants to know, do you recommend keeping your investment paperwork in order? Or how do you recommend keeping your investment paperwork in order? Well, which paperwork are you talking about specifically, Brandon? If you can let me know in the live chat, I'll try and answer your question a bit better. Let's see. Zal says, Intuit underrated, 5-year PE of 35 disagrees. I just meant in terms of people talking about it. Like you never hear people talking about Intuit. The PE is not the best, but at the same time, I mean, dude, look how much growth that company has. Oh yeah, and they have Mint too. I actually forgot about that. Okay, I want to wait for Brandon to hopefully comment in the live chat about what he's talking about, because I'd like to answer that question before I go. But if we don't, okay, there he goes. Okay. So Brandon, trade confirmation statements and other miscellaneous info. I use binders, so I don't really print that stuff out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think there's much of a need to print that stuff out. Trade confirmations, you can just look that up on your brokerage. Like I can go into my Charles Schwab app and I can find, or on my desktop too if I wanted to, I could find any statement, I can find any trade confirmation, pretty much anything I need to know. I can just go into the app and it's all right here digitally. And if I need to print it out, I can certainly do so then. But yeah, I mean, as far as keeping track of all of this stuff, yeah, I don't know. I've never really had a need. I've never gone back and referred to my trade confirmations or anything like that. Statements are helpful to look to. I look at my statements every month, and I use the information on my statements to put into my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet right here. So what I'll do is I'll refer to and I actually need to catch up on this. I'll refer to my statement, and then I'll put in this information, the market value of my portfolio every single month, as well as how much I invested into that. And then that shows up over here. Like I said, I'm a little bit behind, but that'll show up here on this chart right here, or this graph right here. And why isn't that loading? I'll have to play with that. But anyway, hopefully that made sense. Anyway, but anyway, guys, I think this is a pretty good place to wrap it up. We've gone about 15 minutes over. I'm tripping over my words left and right, guys. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on in my head tonight, but yeah, anyway, I think that this is a good place to wrap it up. So with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another Dividend Happy Hour. It's always fun hanging out with you guys. And I appreciate you so much tuning in. A lot of you guys tune in every single week, like have not missed a live stream. And so, man, I really appreciate all you guys for doing that. It means the world. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you in Sunday's videos. And I hope you guys watch it, because it's going to be a really fun video. I'm talking about 15 things that I wish I would have known before I started dividend investing. Some helpful tips, some helpful tricks, just some helpful things that, I wish I would have known going into this journey. So anyway, guys, tune in Sunday. I hope you guys have a fantastic night, a great weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.